Hi, friends. We've been talking a lot about Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. And Washington, D.C. is an awesome place to visit for many reasons, but lots of people like to go to see all the different monuments that are there. Monuments are statues or sculptures, sometimes buildings or a piece of artwork that is created to honor a person and their accomplishments. And there are monuments throughout the entire United States, but there are a lot of them in Washington, D.C. We're going to begin today by reviewing some famous monuments, and then I'm going to be introducing a project to you where you will be designing a monument as well. So, sometimes monuments are built as memorials for famous people or important people who have died. Does anyone know who this monument was built for? You might recognize that man, that important man, Martin Luther King Memorial, which is in the National Mall in Washington, D.C. How about this guy? That's the Jefferson Memorial on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. Well, we all know him and his famous monument. Yes, George Washington, our first president and Revolutionary War hero. His monument is in Washington, D.C. How about this guy? Franklin Delano Roosevelt in Washington, D.C. Mrs. Camp has had her picture right next to that one. How about this monument? That's called Mount Rushmore, and those are 4 presidents there, and that's actually in South Dakota. Maybe some of you have visited there. How about that guy? Yeah, the Lincoln Memorial for Abraham Lincoln, and that's in Washington, D.C. Oh, how about that famous Revolutionary War? Or he wasn't really in the war, but he was one of our founding fathers. Benjamin Franklin, that's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Take a look at a few others. How about that one? That's for Ulysses S. Grant. He was one of our generals in the Civil War. That's in Washington, D.C. But that one, that's the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C., remembering the people who fought and died during World War II. That's for the Korean War. That's the Korean War Memorial. You might recognize that wall, the Vietnam Memorial Monument. Oh, that's a very famous one. The Statue of Liberty in New York. But this one, it's the Pearl Harbor, which was the USS Arizona Memorial. That's one of the ships that was bombed. One of my favorite ones. On the Marine Corps Memorial in Arlington National Cemetery. The Air Force Memorial can be found in Arlington, Virginia. You know, this isn't necessarily a monument, but they do have a flame that they never let go out. So that is kind of a monument, but it's Arlington National Cemetery where lots of soldiers are buried. And there is the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and that's guarded. This is the monument for 9/11 Memorial. But there are some Americans who have done really great, amazing things who unfortunately do not have a monument yet. Let me give you some examples. During World War II, there was a group of women who were code breakers. They would decode messages from enemies to help our soldiers out. We don't hear a lot about them, but they were very important to our success during the war. Squanto and the Wampanoag tribe. We talked about them when we talked about the Pilgrims coming over on the Mayflower. Squanto was one of the main American Indians who helped the Pilgrims, and his tribe was the Wampanoag tribe, and we know that they treated the Pilgrims very well. There's not a monument to them. Katherine Johnson, maybe you've heard of the movie Hidden Figures or read the book about some important African American women astronauts. John Glenn, a famous astronaut, he doesn't have a monument built towards him. Jesse Owens, a very famous athlete. The women Air Force pilots, kind of been overlooked. Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, doesn't have a monument yet. Qian Shengwu, she doesn't have a monument yet. And immigrants, people who came to the United States, which we've talked about how our country is a country of immigrants, how many of our descendants came from another place, they don't have a monument honoring them yet. Krista McAuliffe, she was a teacher who went into space. So you're going to have a project where you're going to choose one of those people who don't have a monument or another one that you have in mind. And you are going to complete the Design a Monument project. So let's take a look at what it looks like. Of course, you'll make a copy and share with me. It says, who else deserves a monument? You can use the digital copy or the paper copy that is at Packet Pickup. It says, research a famous American who does not yet have a national monument dedicated to them. Some ideas are listed below, but you may choose someone else that you believe deserves a monument. So if they're not on this list, that's just fine. So George Washington Carver, he's very famous. He went to Simpson in Iowa State. Neil Armstrong, the women code breakers in World War II, Laura Ingalls Wilder, Squanto, John Glenn, Qian Shengwu, Krista McAuliffe, Katherine Johnson, and immigrants to the United States. As you're researching, you will fill out this chart here. You will list ways the person you chose has contributed to society. And once you have done that, you're going to be writing an opinion paragraph. And we've been talking a lot about how to do that well and how to make your opinion paragraph strong. In the box below, write an opinion paragraph about why the person you chose deserves a monument dedicated to them. Be sure to include a topic sentence, 3 supporting details, and a conclusion sentence. To challenge yourself, support your details with examples. So we're looking for a strong opinion paragraph there about why the person you chose deserves a monument. And then in the box below, design a monument that could be built to honor the person you chose and researched. If you're feeling really creative, you may choose to create a 3D model of your monument. When you are done, send a picture to your teacher. So this may be where you need to use your Packet Pickup page to design your monument. I would like you to be prepared on Friday to share your monument and your research at our live Zoom. Let me know if you have any questions.